All right, welcome to Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News this week. We got our most recent, newest winner here tonight.
In the truck series, Mr. Chris McEVOY.
I appreciate you having him.
And he was driver of the week for the week last week. But I'm sorry, I forgot your thing, but I will make sure that you get it.
No problem.
I got to get it to you. So
Sooner than I would have got it.
probably a whole lot sooner than you would, because there were people saying they went 6 months waiting for you to get
It
them.
was about that. Got to thank our our marketing partners. Got to thank S&N Communications. Oops. Fast Eddie's Barbecue. It's time for some barbecue.
This is 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row that, he promised us last week, and I understood he had a lot going on. But this week, I'm still waiting. Never mind. We'll get fine.
Got to thank Papa John's. Online code Dotson25. Get 25% off of your order. And I see that S&N's got that too.
Yeah, I saw that. If they had had more than that 25, I was going to complain.
So you got to thank Papa John's for that Mayhem company.
Aaron, don't forget Aaron this week. Now we kind of blew by that last week and didn't say anything about Aaron. So
Well, I said Mayhem company.
I know, but we kind of blew by it and did, because she does a lot for us as far as graphics and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I asked her for something and she had it back to me within minutes. So we have
So in other words, she's doing stuff that you cannot do.
Aaron, stuff I can't do. Aaron Goodman is a very valuable part of this organization.
RDS Performance got to wish Robert. I don't know how he's doing. I hadn't seen anything today.
I just got a text message from Robert, says he's doing good. It takes a while for them sex change operations to work.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm joking. He didn't have a sex change operation. But
we cannot confirm or deny.
Well, I'm not going to say that. But anyway, he says he's doing good. And
That's good. I messaged him yesterday, but I hadn't heard anything back from him.
Maybe he likes me better than you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it goes along with the sex change.
Go on. Just go on, man. You went way too far with it.
Got the Mean Dean Automotive with Grier and Associates. I want to say too. I would say the best looking late model out there to me. I love. Yeah, I do. I love that old school with the gold. That just is that old school feel.
I
like it.
The other night they finished fourth in the late models, in the second late model race. They finished fourth. I want to see them get up front and stay up front for a while. Grier and them deserve it. It's really.
It's been a long, hard fought race.
Yes.
Gator Graphics, got to thank Sammy. I told Sammy and Robbie Parker, I'm tired of seeing the 8 car whip y'all's ass every week. Something's got to give. Y'all got to do some work.
Well,
it's not hard to get Sammy wound up either.
Well, Sammy's going to sooner or later learn that Robbie Parker's the problem. Go ahead.
Southampton Motor Speedway.
And they had a big thing out there this past weekend at Southampton Motor Speedway with karting. Big karting thing going on.
Yeah, I seen something.
They had a huge amount of carts out there, and I understand moving a little bit closer to something else coming down the road here in the near future.
Mosquito Joe's hit Mr. Joe. Robert, what's his name? The guy I ignored.
Robert Rumbles.
Robert Rumbles.
Please don't forget his name anymore.
If it's something you're thinking about, it's only on this side of the water. He doesn't own the one in Norfolk, Chesapeake on the other side of the water.
Hello, Stephanie Elvira Parks, Ranger Parks.
Get your first month 50% off. Try it out, see if you like it. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, and Jack and Mine's drink of choice. I thank them for.
Hopefully, we'll have this thing ironed out. That's another story.
Waltrip Pressure Washing Solutions with Turn 2 Synthetics didn't have a good weekend.
No,
I seen him post that maybe he might be done for the season. So we'll see. I don't think the car needs a snout. Definitely bent one of the headers and folded the control arms up, upper and lower, in the right front.
Yeah,
that was
he's got some major names.
yeah. Safety Clean, Performance Plus Motor Oil. I think Langley Speedway, we really can't thank them guys enough. Chuck, Terry, and Bill. I mean, we all know Terry is in charge. She's the boss here. Everybody answers to Terry. Bonnert's Brothers Distillery. One day Jack's going to get us some product. MPM Marketing. Black Acid Racing Apparel. I think those guys donating the fire suits. Hopefully they should be getting here pretty soon. I believe in the next couple of weeks. Tim Brown. I thank Tim Brown for coming on. The official T-shirt guy at Langley Speedway. I talked to him for a while Saturday, and Tim's a good guy. Factory Canopies, and I guess he's still doing Fluid Logic with Speed. What is it? Speed Airlocks. VA 811. Call before you dig. And GAC, Great American Company. With that, go back.
Do you have
Stephanie?
Do you have a hose going into your helmet?
I do not.
He's younger than we are, Jeff.
Well, I'm just asking. Might help him. Those things might help him. At Iowa Speedway this past weekend, the Cup Series winner, Ryan Blaney. I mean, he did a pretty good job.
I'm shocked that the two tires worked.
That for that long period, that long.
Of course, I'm sure probably like everybody else around here, we're probably pulling for I was going to say Kyle Busch, but the 4-car with
Josh
Berry. I mean, when he came in, as he pulled out on that run next to that last caution, I was like, man, he's got a shot at this thing. And then got beat off pit road. A couple cars, well, 3 cars in front of him took 3 tires or 2 tires. So came off 4th, and then decided to go to the outside lane. But I'm sure he probably wishes he could take that back. I was listening to him over the radio, and he's like, we let one go today. Because I think most definitely if he could have started, I guess he probably thought I thought those 2 tires would have been a lot slower. And I think he thought they were going to bottle the bottom up and the outside lane was going to go.
Didn't happen that way.
No, it did not. And of course, the 47 ended up what, 4th?
Yeah,
3rd?
Something like that,
yeah. So, yeah, I was pulling for Josh there for. I'm like, oh, man, he's going to do it. And I think, Rodney Childers is high on Josh Berry. And I think, I'm curious, we were kind of talking about this off camera about, where's these charters going, who's going where. I think for a little while until, money starts splitting things up, that I think they want to keep that team together and go somewhere.
He was on Sirius XM today on my way down here. And that was his comment. I want to keep this group together. He said, we all have each other's back. We know what we're doing together. We don't have to sit around and watch each other, make sure things get done. We want to go together, but you never can tell what's going to happen down the road. So.
Mm-hmm. And when you got Rodney Childers that wants to stay with you, that to me, that says something.
I don't know what anyway. All right, in the Xfinity.
Well, it's the camera gets real dark, so I got to play with the settings to.
In the Xfinity race, Sam Mayer got the win.
How about that, Stephanie?
In the ARCA West, Connor Zilich got the win. That's another big win.
Man, when you talk about a race, did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched part of it,
yeah. Those boys put a show on. And how
Williams, Wallace, and Zilich, they were.
Oh boy, was rough on him. I'd have probably let him go and stuffed him in the wall. It's funny because I was talking to Willie about that Saturday because I was like, man, did you watch that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, man, he was more than a little rough on him.
Yeah.
Didn't wreck him. Got to say that. But
in the Cars Tour race, which was at Dominion Speedway this past weekend, Brendan Butterbean Queen got another win, led from start to finish. Had a heck of a race.
And Connor run second. Our hometown guys. representing well, and you gotta give a shout out to Minnie for
all the things he did. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's been known Minnie for a long time, since he was a little teeny kid racing in arena racing, and he had done that, cancer thing with kids. And Minnie's Missions got involved with Jeff Gordon for a little while doing the kickball thing. Jeff Gordon, I think, would come and do the kickball stuff up in Richmond when they were here in Richmond. But each driver got paired up with a family, and I looked and I seen Connor where he took a ride. What's up, Vaughn? I think Vaughn's in Spain.
Vaughn's in Spain, and he's watching.
What time is it there, Vaughn?
And he's watching us. He's.
I
feel very honored that he's in Spain watching us. I mean,
I seen him post something there. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Vaughn's my new hero. It's 11 a.m.
It's 11 a.m.
Vaughn's my new hero.
1:11 a.m.
1:11 a.m. Woo.
Well, I mean, that's not too late. Not for me, anyway.
Well, it's 7 o'clock in his book. I mean, that's the way he probably feels anyway. But he's my new hero. Being over in space. See, y'all thought I was out there in the water watching on a cruise, and I was watching.
Vaughn got you beat.
And Vaughn, man, he just kicked me right to the side. He's over in Spain. We can honestly say we've had somebody from Spain watch our show. That's pretty cool.
Bringing y'all international. That's right.
Well, we appreciate you doing that, Vaughn. I mean, when you come back, we're gonna have you on the show, because you're gonna be our new favorite person. Because
up to something. We're gonna get that.
That's
social
cool.
media spike from.
That's pretty cool.
How come the fan is stuck on you? I mean, like, are we?
I don't know. You knocked it over one time, so I don't know what in the world. All right, at Wyoming, New York.
We got to find out if we can get electricity on the spotter stand, Vaughn.
Yes, Vaughn, we do need to do that. We need to get you and everybody involved with the Hampton
Vaughn
Heat.
said, yeah, let's do it. And we'll talk Hampton Heat. Absolutely. Because we think we might want to try this. I don't know how good it would work if we could do the show from the spotter stand. I think it would be neat.
But anyway, and Wyoming, New York, the New York Superstock Series. I don't know who won, but Garrett Zacharias finished second. I mean, he sent me a message. And anybody wants to help Garrett, he's got a trip going to Kern County to race in an ARCA race out in Kern County. But he needs some financial support. And he said for $100, he put your name on the hood. He's just looking for money. So if you can help him out, give him a little help, and let's get him to Kern County so he can run that ARCA race and continue going in his.
Did you write him a check?
I'm sending him some, yeah, but I didn't write a check. But yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Let's go back to the car store for a second, though. Pointing at you, you're a big figure.
Okay.
But what a cool event to have the families with every driver. And I think they even I seen Connor post, and I thought I seen somebody else post where they took one of the kids, put them in the car, and they drove around the racetrack real slow. I mean, those are things that those kids are going to remember.
Yeah.
For forever.
And they got to come out during driver introductions.
Yeah, and walk out with the crew.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have a pretty cool, long walkway to make that a kind of a neat intro. What was the other thing I was going to say that I seen Butterbean got teamed up with the same person that he had got teamed up with before, and they're cancer free. I can't think of the kid's name.
Landon.
Yeah, but I mean, how cool is that? And then get to go to Victory Lane and celebrate that. And I just got to say, hats out to
probably got to go to the Waffle House after it was over.
I wonder about it. Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna go back to this Wyoming, New York again, where Garrett Zacharias finished second. So we really want to help him out as best we can. At Kingsport, Tennessee, in the late models, Keith Helton got another win at Kingsport in the late models, and then they ran the Mod 4 race.
Kevin Canner
is undefeated. And if you put them all together,
see, Skinnell's watching. Skinnell, we was asking about you earlier, see how you were doing.
But you put his races from last year and this year in the Mod 4s. This cat's put together probably right close to 20 straight wins.
I just like to have 20 wins.
That's 20 straight. I mean, that's unbelievable. Down at Bowman Gray in the modified race number 1, John Holman. Modified race number 2, Tim Brown. In the Sportsman Series, Sterling Clemens got the first race. Tommy Neal got the second. In the ASA All-Stars at Wisconsin Speedway, Ty Majeski got the win. At Ace Speedway, late model driver Dylan Harville got the win. The modified was Todd Massey. Up at Dominion, Tuggy Case got a Bando win, and Keelan Harvard got the Legends win. And I was just watching the watching the race from Charlotte, the summer series, summer heat series, and he's fast down there too. So you never can tell anything.
He seems to be fast about everywhere he goes.
At Dixieland, the mod lights was Brandon Dennis, late models Saunders Overman, Sportsman Kerry King, Street Stocks Kevin Bray, and the Super Fours Ricky Waters. And to finish up the night, modified the Langley Speedway modified race number 1, Chris Johnson, modified race number 2, Brad Adams, the Pro 6. It's a new guy won that race in the Pro 6, Travis Wall.
yeah. Dougie Doug. I would say on the modified race, I thought Brad was going to drag their ass the first race. Especially set on the pole by like 2.5, 3 tenths. I was like, damn, he's going to wear him out. But I understand he went over there and worked on the car. And then in between the 2 races, he put it back.
It was a good thing he did.
Yeah.
In the Virginia Racers, Aiden Milet got the win. In the Super Street, Dale Nichols. In the U-Cars, Christian Keller. And in the Enduros, Charlie Bryant. See, he's not old. He can fight and still race. So that's pretty cool. All right. Let's talk with Chris McEVOY, who just got his first win in the trucks the other night. Well, not this week, but the week before. That had to be a huge deal for you.
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. Just the amount of work the team put in that day. We lost a freeze plug in practice 1, almost put it in turn 4 wall. Took the rest of the day just kind of sitting out grilling at the trailer, hoping just to make the race. Ran to the auto parts store, got everything to put it back together, and we just showed up for the feature and just to see what happened. Hope we finished.
Started from the back then, right?
Sure did. Yeah, it was definitely a tough race. It was a long race.
Yeah, that it was.
I actually lost count of where it was at one point. One of my buddies, Chip, who's down in the pits, he got on the radio. He's like, "You're P3." Now I knew I was coming up on about 15 to 20 laps at that point, and I had a whole new surge of energy in me.
That's pretty cool. But I mean, the competition there in the truck series, that's huge. I mean, there's some good. I mean, there's some good great racers in that division.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gotten really tight. Everybody's turning close to the same lap times. It's a constant battle. You don't know who's going to win. You just hope you get your tires right, and the car runs good for those 25 laps.
Yeah.
Well,
you took the lead with what, 1 or 2 to go?
2 to go. 2 to go because I remember coming across it. I had to put a lot of work in on the 01. He did a really good job trying to keep me down. He was cutting it down hard on me, trying to keep me from passing. So I did a little bumping, trying to keep it clean. Just he knew I was there. And then coming out of 4, I was able to finally work him in turn 3, and he tried to cut block coming out of 4, and I think that's when he got a little sideways, and I was able to pull it off. So I know it was 2 to go, and I got the white flag as I came around.
That's the way to win one when you're fighting for it. And
the whole way was a fight.
Yeah,
the whole way.
And of course, it's good that you guys can go out there and race like that because if Rick Powell shows up with that big motor in his car, in his truck, he's going to probably win. So
I think he was locked in for a street stock ride.
Rick is.
Mm-hmm. Somebody got tore up this. Wesley got tore up this weekend, hurt. He can't drive for a few weeks. So.
Maybe he'll drive that, but I hope they give him a big motor because he don't seem to drive one like everybody else does.
So what was it like those last few laps? Was that the longest 30 seconds of your life.
Yeah, it felt like it. No, you know, I felt really good going into it. I knew when I caught him at lap 20, I was on his bumper, so I knew it was fast enough. You know, I just had to work it and just, you know, finesse my way around him, and stay out of trouble and try to pull it off. I had 5 laps to do it, and then I was not expecting the caution. So,
yeah.
But that gave, you know.
I mean, I don't know what the rule is. I'm assuming because you definitely went without a white flag, right? Or did you get the check? Or it was real close, right?
White flag.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like, you know, I took the caution laps and just tried to preserve the tires. I knew I was getting them hot. I was pushing hard trying to get to the front, and I started feeling a little tight. And the truck series you get really tight easily. Mm-hmm. So I tried to just cool my tires down, take it easy, don't scrub too much, and just give me a fresh start on the restart. And it felt great. The truck started handling again. Had a nice. It was a little loose, which was great. It's how I like to drive it, and made it easy to fight for the lead.
Now, we talked about this before we came on about your grandfather raced here, and that's kind of probably got what you started in. Taking him to victory lane. I mean, what was that like? That had to have been like one of the coolest feelings or the coolest things to do.
Yeah, so it felt great. He ran here in the 80s. My mom used to race his stock car up in Saluda. I grew up running the kart clubs, but to be able to put him in victory lane at Langley Speedway is an amazing feeling. You know, that was like my biggest goal in the last 3 years. If I could just pull off a win, you know, that was the #1 goal. And then now that we're there, we're just going to continue to see how many more we can put in the books.
And I'm assuming your mom was here. She got to go to victory lane.
No, I'm the first one in the family, so it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to actually bring the family to victory lane.
That's pretty cool.
What was that like for you, Jack, when you won?
See, he's trying to be a smart one. He's trying to be, but that ain't working. Randy Akers said, what did you name the truck?
Oh, I don't know. My grandfather wanted to name it Wanda because he was wondering what's going to happen next. But we haven't come up with a new name yet. But it's been a rough year. We've had a lot of mechanical issues that's kind of prevented us from finishing the race. So that was our #1 goal this past weekend, was just to finish the race. And the fact that we got a shot for the win was, you know, icing on the cake.
Now, that truck you're driving, that's a former Brian Huff truck, right?
Yes. He drove it, and Brad Adams built that truck.
Oh, okay.
He used to race it.
Donald Brown said he's going to be back this weekend, so don't count.
It'll be a tough battle, that's for sure. That's for sure. It'd be nice to get the whole.
He said you're going to freeze plug.
That was the second freeze plug I lost this year. The first race when we were leading, we had a great lead. That car was hooked up. I never had to turn so fast lap times. And when I went down in turn 1 on lap traffic, I didn't get into the guy that I was passing. The freeze plug blew out of the right side of the motor. My tires got soaked. The car broke loose, went straight up into the wall. That was the #1 freeze plug, and then this was the second time I've had a freeze plug. So
might want to replace the other two.
We're working on it. We've been pulling them and reinserting. So
you got so much horsepower. You pushing so much water. You pushing freeze plug.
Don't tell a lot of people about it, because
some people got big mouths. So just tell everybody.
Rick House, you know, he's got a big motor in his truck. And you start blowing stuff out like that, they'll start talking about you.
That's very true.
We'll start that rumor, don't worry.
But hopefully we got all the gremlins done. You know, we can keep finishing for the rest of the year and have at least a strong fight for the lead every time. It'd be a great feeling. We've been up front every week, so it's a good feeling to have that truck up there.
So what is your plan? I mean, you like the truck series, I'm sure, but are you interested in moving up to some other series and doing some stuff? Are you content where you are right now and to deal with that, or what's your plan?
I don't have too much of a plan right now. I just enjoy it. I love racing. You know, it's my grandfather, my thing. I have all my buddies from work, and my best friend Chip. They come out the track. My wife's there every weekend. She loves it. I know when my son's old enough to race go-karts, that's what's going to take priority.
Oh, you got that right. You got that right.
He will 100% take priority. He is 2 turning 3, so I got a couple of years to have fun.
You got long.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yep, she's already been in my ear nonstop about go-karts, so that would be priority over my racing. We've talked about it. My grandfather and I talked about it. You know, this is his truck. He funds everything. They let me go out there and have the time of my life, and I put in everything I can to, you know, assist with that. And, you know, we'll just see where things go. Right now, we're just happy to be in the truck series. We're enjoying it. It's fun. You know, it's nice to be out here just having a good time.
Yeah, If you're having fun, that's half the battle when you're sitting up there racing like that. If you're having fun. What happens doesn't really matter as long as it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Scott gets mad and runs backwards on the track, hits people and stuff. I mean, that wasn't fun.
I didn't care at the time.
Yeah, you did get, but it's funny how you went over and kicked the car and about broke your foot. So
yeah, I won't do that again. I was pulling old Kevin Harvick. If you ain't part of the show, you got to do something to get people talking about you. And I went out there. I did arena racing, and I was like, "We'll go out there and kick his car." Crowds like that. I went there, and I won't go kick it that hard, but I had to make it look good. I ain't gonna do that again.
So what's your plans for the rest of the year? You gonna just keep going with what you got? You gonna do any moving around to some other places to race, or?
No, so the truck series is hard to travel with. It's certain rules. I'm not. I think there's a track in Delaware, but I run a Toyota motor in my Chevrolet, and they don't allow Toyotas. So it just different tracks have different rules. It's hard to travel. It would be nice one day if the cards are right to find a division that could travel. That'd be great. It'd be fun to do it, but right now we're just kind of sticking to Langley and just enjoying it.
So, what was your goals coming into this year?
Honestly, to contend for the lead. The first 2 years I've been close. We've been top 5 finishes every time, unless I've blown 2 motors each year. And that's what's taken me out because we've only had 1 motor. We're trying to work on the second motor. But this year is try to win. I mean, we've been so close. We finished second before. We've been there. My truck has been extremely tight for the first 2 years. So this is the first year I finally was able to play with the cross and get the thing loose where it felt good. I enjoy a loose truck. I really don't like a tight truck. It's just easier for me to handle when it's loose.
Mm-hmm.
How much information did Ryan and them give you on with the truck? I mean,
his dad gave me quite a bit when I first started. He came out here with Shannon Lester. Shannon Lester's been a big help. Kind of helped me walk the line and tell me kind of like when to get in, when to get out. He kind of told me where to go, what to do with the Toyotas and whatnot. He got me a second transmission and another motor so we could start building the second one. But I've had a lot of help. I mean, Rich Burgess was with them. He does a lot of crew chief for Jimmy Huff, and he would help me out with tires, what to kind of look for. And if I was struggling, I could text him, and he'd shoot me a text back saying, hey, maybe try this. So that was a big help. Another real big one is Randy Akers. He helps me all the time. He comes over to the garage. We'll go through it. That's actually what we just did. We just reset the truck up for this last race. So did a whole nother alignment, just got it running, and it ran amazing. It's been a little off since I put it in the wall,
Sure.
And I put it together the best I could. So I got in. I thought I was doing the right thing, but it definitely was a huge improvement when he came over and helped me do it, and put my eyes back on it. It's nice. It's also hard as a driver because usually you're in the car and I don't get a chance to learn. So this time I put weights in the seat so that way I can get in there and actually put my hands on it and do it. So I can learn for myself in the future.
Okay.
Another big help is Marty Strickland. He's here every week. He lives right down the road from us. The first year we had carburetor issues. He was rebuilding our carburetors, trying to help troubleshoot the car. I know we had some fuel regulator issues, fuel pump issues. Finally, I was able to get that done. He was here the other night helping us, talking to us about the freeze plug, what to put on it to help it stick in there for the race. And we're out here with the heat gun trying to heat the material and everything to hold that thing in there. Fingers crossed it finished, but it did. It ran good. Let's see, I had Mark Clare. Mark Clare comes out.
Yeah, he's made a couple late model tries for limited or whatever.
Yeah, he's got his late model, and he wrecked it. He's trying to get it back together so he can come back out and run. He shows up here, and he'll help me. He'll set my sway bar and help me get ready for the feature. So that's been a huge help. And another one is Dave Nichols, Dale Nichols' dad. I can text him or call him whenever I need. He usually gives me some good advice of which way to go if I'm struggling with the truck. Mm-hmm. It's definitely been a learning lesson the whole time, And it's just my family and friends that are working on this car with me, So we're just winging it the best we can. And
but you got learning
everything I can.
You got a lot of good help. I mean,
Randy Akers,
Marty. I mean, Marty. I've tried to get Marty to come on here, and Marty said he's not coming on no show. But Marty, I mean. Marty's in his 70s. I mean, I think he told me the other day, 72? 70? He's in his 70s. I mean, he still gets around pretty damn well for his age and stuff. And Still builds a bunch of motors out
Oh,
here.
he's working on everybody's car in that pit all day long. Yeah.
And we were telling old stories. We were talking about some of the pictures he's got up at his house and his garage, and talking about old Billy Wood. I don't know, do you
I don't
remember the name.
Billy Wood was he showed up at Langley. You had to. I'm sure Doug probably knows old Billy Wood. He had to give him a couple bucks. If not, he put the voodoo on you, and then you'd wreck. And some people would go over there if they were. And you know what to ask Marty about some of the stories. He was telling me some of the stories the other day. I forget who it was running second in the points. He said, "Oh, Billy, I don't need him to finish this week." He said, "Give me $50." And this will happen to him on lap 17, and here come lap 17, and he beat Dry Shaft come out or something or other. It's pretty funny. Billy Woods is definitely a character.
All right,
that's right.
We'll get back to you in just a minute. We're gonna go ahead and do Doug Morgan now. Are you in a hurry to get anywhere?
Well, let me just throw a quick shout out to my friends.
Okay, go ahead. Your sponsors.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate everything my grandfather one way's done, and my grandma. She's, they put everything into letting me run out here, just having time with my life. My beautiful wife, she's sitting at home watching this probably with my son.
That was smooth. That was smooth. That was good.
Hopefully I got a few bonus points in there. She loves it. She's enjoying it, so it makes my life easy. I don't have to worry about fighting at home. She loves being here at the track. Enjoys every part of it.
So where'd you find her?
Mine is actually just the opposite. Which is kind of nice because they're not here when we come. So we can do whatever the hell we want to do.
That's exactly right.
So that's really nice. Like I think my mom and my stepdad, my mom Diane and my stepdad Greg Sims, everything they've done. Greg, he went out and bought us that carburetor when we were struggling. So that was a huge help. Like I think my dad Paul for everything he does that comes to the track. He's here helping me with tires and everything. My two buddies I work with, Chris and Will. They're here every week at the track. Will's spotting for me currently, and that's the Barefoot Lawn sponsor you see on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on there to help him out, get his name out there. So if anybody needs a grass cut, Barefoot Lawn's the way to go.
There you go.
I got to thank Donnie with Pete's. He hooked me up with the rear end. We went over there to chat with him one day, and he's like, you know what, just take whatever you want. Here's a rear end if you want it, and we needed one, so that was a big help. So we threw his name on there. Appreciation. My buddy Chip, I mentioned him earlier. He's always here every weekend in the pits with me, help me on the truck whenever I need it. My brother-in-law, Robbie Hall, whenever I have to do any welding on the car, I'm not a welder. So if it's body, I'll weld that up. If it's anything serious, he welds it because I don't trust.
You're not alone.
Yeah, don't trust my welding. So, but no, I just appreciate all my guys' help with everything on this car, and all the issues we've had all year. It's kind of a downer, but to actually put in victory lane and see everybody just celebrate and enjoying life. And I forgot to mention one of the weeks my steering wheel broke off. So when I was competing when I was competing with McAdams, when we were tied first and second, I was on the outside. I ran the high side the whole time. Mark Claire asked me, he said, "Was your truck super tight?" I said, "No, I couldn't turn. The steering wheel broke off, and it was in my lap." So I did the best I could. He said, "Why don't you just pull off the track?" I said, "The amount of work we broke the sway bar that day, a sway bar.
Wow.
So the amount of work we did to get this truck on that track, I wasn't coming off that track, So we fought it as long as we could
Together?
I did. I actually did that one. It's hell though.
It's really bad when something happens and you're the one who did it.
It's rough. So no, that's welded now. I welded that one back on. So and it held this last race, so I'm pretty happy. But it's been I could write a book on the amount of problems we've had. It's crazy.
It sounds like it.
It's
sounds like it.
crazy.
Ain't nothing like riding down the track and you get ready to turn and the steering wheel comes off.
Yeah, well, it's still connected. So
no, mine came off.
That's rough. No, mine was connected, but as I turned my body, like tried to turn the wheel, I went with the wheel. So I could hardly turn it, the whole time.
Well, mine came all the way off, and I had it up here like this, and I luckily it jammed right back on, but it didn't lock. So I had to fight it, and I went on and pulled. I did pull off. Because if I didn't, I probably would have had more issues than that. But I did pull off. And the first thing I heard was, "You shouldn't let your son," that's when my son was a little fellow, "you shouldn't let your son go out there and play in the car," but the problem was he didn't have nothing to do with it. I did it.
But one last thing, I just want to thank everybody who voted for me for Driver of the Week. All my friends, family, fans, and other drivers I run with. I I've seen everybody voting. I really appreciate it.
And
I'm truly honored.
I promise I'll get you that thing this week. One way or the other, I'll get it to you. So that's my fault that I didn't do it, not Scott's. He's usually the problem. He's usually the problem, but now this one was mine. But we'll get it to you. Congratulations, and thank you for coming and being with us, man.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Nice meeting you.
All right. Well, we'll let you go on. All right, man. We'll see you later.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right, let's get Dougie Doug on here.
What's up, man? Can you
What's
hear
up,
me?
Dougie Doug?
What's going on, guys? I can hear y'all loud and clear.
We can hear you pretty good too.
Now, was Billy Wood here when you were here back in the day?
I can't remember, honestly. I don't think so.
No, I was gonna say it's probably kind of close, and it would be no question whether you knew him or you did. Either you knew him or you didn't.
How are y'all doing today? Y'all doing all right?
We're doing great. How about you? I know y'all are celebrating that good finish this weekend.
Yeah, the crew those guys did a really good job. They paced themselves throughout the race, and when it came down to the end there, they really made some good calls and some pit selections, and took on 2 tires. The car was actually fast, and with these next gen cars, it's when you have a fast car, it really performs when it in clean air. And these next gen cars, a lot of times when they get in the pack, and it's really difficult to pass. So they came in and we took 2 tires and we ran a stage really well. And the car just, once it took 2 tires, it took off in the clean air, and Ricky was able to maintain and bring it home with a 5th place finish, man. We're pretty stoked. The team was real happy. Much needed finish throughout the whole organization, and the whole morale and the whole shop today was fantastic, and we were just super slammed with work today. So it was a good overall weekend for us, and much needed for sure, to say the least.
But you know what was really cool? That car had a great finish, even though Ryan Richardson had his hands on it.
I tell you what, that guy, he's something else, man. He gets under there and he's working, and I'll nudge on him a little bit. Say, man, what are you doing? I'm out here measuring things, So, but he's come a long way within the 6 months he's been with us, and he's doing a fantastic job, and we're really proud to have him on board.
Now, for people that don't know Doug, there's some new people at Langley that don't know Doug. Doug used to be on the Edwards crew, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Background on you.
Yeah, I years ago, I would say late, probably 1995, around October-ish, I had the opportunity to join Edward Motorsports with Danny Edwards. He was the guy I was pretty much working with, and then if I wasn't working with Danny, then I was over there helping Greg. So, but overall, I was an Edward Motorsports crew member. I came in on board. It was October of 95, and I absolutely came in their shop not knowing a single thing. I didn't even know what a 1/2-inch box-end wrench was. So, I totally absolutely had to learn every single little thing. And man, those guys have been phenomenal to me. And from day one, Danny's he's like one of my heroes. So I really speak highly of Danny and Greg and Edward Motorsports and all the crew guys I've met and learned from throughout the years that I had the opportunity to work with. And those guys are really cool. They're down to earth. What they do is what they do, is what you see. When you go out to the racetrack every weekend, they are professional short track racers, and they're good at what they do. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and they have a lot of class within their organization, and they are top-notch gentlemen from top to bottom, and they get after it. If you're serious about wanting to work on their race cars, then they want you, because that's just how they operate. And of course, and then they treat you as down to earth. They don't take advantage of anyone, so they're straight up good people, man. And I'm still blessed. I'm still blessed to be able to come back to this day and help them. I was there with them on the 2nd late model race, and Greg won 1. Danny finished 2nd. We almost got Danny back into victory lane for the 2nd time this year, and it was really fun. I had my son with me, and it was really, really emotional to have my son in victory lane with Greg Edwards, and just about started to cry because that was really important, because my son, he's autistic, and he really gets to see what I get to do for a living, and having him in victory lane there, you know, it was really, really important to me. That was probably, of all the wins that I've had, that one was pretty important to me.
Yeah, that's a huge thing when you have family and something like that to be a part of what you're doing, and then have that kind of success, win a race, and let them see what it's all about. That's huge.
Yeah, and it is huge, and then just to be able to be a part of, you know, Edward Motorsports, and still, I once when I left their organization, you know, out of there completely, was probably in December of '99, maybe. And that's when I moved down to Charlotte, because I had a bigger opportunity to come down here and work for a cup team. And from there on, I've been here in the Charlotte area working for, you know, NASCAR Cup teams, and it's been a huge success for me. Um, so it goes. I mean, it all starts right there in that shop, and I'm very thankful to have that opportunity with those guys and what they started with me, because when I started with them, I didn't know anything, and I just kind of worked my way up, and I took it by the hand and took their knowledge and what they were feeding me, and I just kind of took it and ran. Danny at the time was running the Busch Grand National Series, and I used to play football for Tabb High School, and Danny was, you know, like, hey, we need a jackman for the Busch car. He says, you're pretty athletic. Could you be the jack man? I said, sure, why not? Absolutely, I could do this, you know. So, and I took it, and we practiced at the shop, and I took it from there, and, you know, and I did 18 years on the cup side. I did it for Jimmy Johnson, Johnny Benson. I won multiple races with Jimmy Johnson and championships, and some races with Johnny Benson. I mean, and Kurt Busch, and so I've been blessed to actually just be able to use that knowledge and move on up. And now I work for JTG Doherty Racing, and I've been with these folks for 7 years, and I'm the parts manager for this team, and we've been just going strong as hard as we can go for a small race team.
Do you have a favorite memory, like of a victory lane or a certain race?
You know, I do, and I have a couple. And I will, what I will say is there's two of them. One of them is when I was on the 48 car with Jimmy Johnson, and we had probably one of the craziest, you know, Brickyard 400s that you can think of. And I think the tires were only lasting maybe 15 to 8.
I remember that,
yeah, maybe 15 to 18 laps. I mean, like, just, man, after 18 laps, the tires were slap cordon. So I think we qualified on the pole. I mean, forget me if I'm wrong, because it's been a good bit of while. I think we did qualify on the pole, but the 11 car Denny Hamlin was one of our top competitors. So we led quite a bit. Danny Hamlin led quite a bit. And at the very last run, I think it came down to probably like 15 or 18 laps to go. Everyone came in and pitted. The whole day, we've been taking 4 tires, and everyone else came in, and we took 2 tires, and we beat Danny Hamlin out because we came in third. We beat Danny Hamlin out, and Jimmy Johnson took off from there, and we won the Brickyard 400. So that is, that was one of big moment for me. And another one was we were at Dover, and Dover, Delaware is my absolute favorite racetrack of all time. I love that place. The way that place is set up is so cool. The cars are so fast, and when they dive into turn 1 and they dive into turn 3, it's really sick to watch these guys come down off the turn 4 down pit road and just dive right into turn 1 doing like 170 miles an hour. But anyway, so I was with Jimmy Johnson, and we qualified on the pole, and we put a smackdown on the field. I mean, an absolute smackdown. We led probably about maybe 10 laps, okay, out of 400 laps. And a late caution came out, and we were on a late run. We went on a really late run. Everybody was probably on 60, 70 lap tires. And then the caution came out with 10 to go. And all day we've been taking 4 tires all day. Chad Canals 4-tire kind of crew chief guy. Always has been, always will be. Occasionally he will take 2, but that day our 4 tires were working. Our car was just sick fast. So we came in, we took 4 tires, and of course a lot of people took 2 tires. Of course, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to beat you and get all they can, but we took 4 tires, and we had one of the absolute worst pit stops I could ever think of. Like, I mean, Chad was flipping, going crazy on the radio, and Jimmy was just like, "Guys, I'll take care of you. I got your back. I got your back." He was just trying to make it up, and I think we came out of the pits like 11th or 12th or something like that. And when the green flag dropped, there were 6 laps to go, and probably within 2 laps, Jimmy passed 8 cars, and then and then probably 4 to go, Jimmy took the lead, and we won the race. And we were all of it, the whole pit crew, we were just walking down pit road going to victory lane singing, "Thank God for Jimmy Johnson. Thank God for Jimmy Johnson," because he totally bailed us out from all getting fired on Monday. So those are probably the 2 biggest situations that I had. And then there was another one when I was with Johnny Benson with MBV and Valvoline. And Johnny and I are actually still really good friends to this day, and we still talk about 2-3 times a month, and we still hang out occasionally. And we won Rockingham, and that was his first Cup win, and then that was my first Cup win as well. So those were probably my biggest overall wins that I've been a part of. And I've probably been I've been really blessed to be part of a lot of wins. And I would say probably 2 other wins that I had a part of is I was still on the 48 car, but I would go down to Dell Jr.'s team, and I would help those guys, pit and stuff. And I was pitting for them when they won their very first win in Vegas with Mark Martin in the 5 car. And so that was a pretty cool deal, pretty experience, because actually that was my second Busch Grand National. Well, I call it Busch Grand National. It might have been nationwide then. I could be wrong. I apologize. Let's just say an Infinity Series. And and one of my favorite tracks is IRP, and I helped Jason Leffler win his only Busch race, and at that time there. So they're my biggest wins in the top touring series of all 3 series. So.
Now, before I let you go, I got a serious question here to ask you.
Okay, shoot.
You said you worked on that 48 team, and Chad Knaus, when that bad pit stop happened.
Did they call him Hitler then too?
I don't know. I mean, I got along with Chad. I never had a problem with that guy. Some of the people that, if you were a mouthy kind of guy, then you might have a problem. I've always been a yes guy. So when I was with the 48 at that time, and my deal was I was just pit crew only. I was contract just to be on the pit crew, so I wasn't in the shop. I wasn't working on the race cars. I was just there to train. So train and do pit stops.
He was called
that answered my question.
Prima donnas.
Yeah, that answered my question.
What they call them now?
That answered my question, because when my son was there at Hendrick Motorsports, he said he would come out of the 24 shop. That's when they had the 2 different shops. He said he'd come out of the 24 shop and go over to the 48 shop. He said it was like going from two different towns. He said because over in the 24 shop, they were having a good time, had music blaring. You go to the 48 shop,
it was business.
Chad Knaus did not believe in that. He said,
he was a very uptight, very formal type of guy. I've been at the racetrack with him where he would make sure that you always had to have your shirt tucked in. You always had a brand new hat in your locker in the hauler for every Sunday during the race. I've seen him make people shave at the racetrack. If you looked a little scruffy, I've seen him actually make people, you go in there and you get shaved up. He was a clean cut kind of guy. Just no ifs, ands, or buts. This is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to perform. Straight up.
Let me tell you something. He's a stickler now.
Yeah.
He got me one time at a test. Because he would come in and set his toolboxes so nobody could see what they were doing.
And it's true. Oh yeah.
And the 24 was over here, and they They were not like that. They didn't have all this stuff. Well, I just, I am not a crew member, and I don't have a whole lot to do with it. My son was there. So I'm walking around, and I went around in front of the 48 and took a picture.
He flipped out.
I should not have done that because I really got a lesson in learning that you don't take pictures on test day.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, you don't do a whole lot of pictures with them cars in general. They won't let anybody get close to them.
But look, I had to pull my picture up and show it to I don't forget who the guy was, but Chad had gone to him and said, "Look, you need to find out who this cat is."
Now, when I was with the 48 car, we were in the shop together. It was the 24 and 48, and then it was the 88 with Dale Jr. and the 5 car Mark Martin. So that when I was there, when we were making all those runs, we did 3 championships and all that kind of cool stuff. And my first year with the 24 and 48, I think the 24 won 6 races, and I think we won 11 races with the 48 car, and we pretty much won. That puts you pretty much that one shop won half the races that season at the time. So it was just an amazing dominance I was blessed to be a part of.
Toby Weldon says he wants to get your autograph. You stuck.
Tell him I'm gonna be down there. We're gonna go fishing here soon, man. I tell you, I love that guy. Him and I had the opportunity to work together.
Another Hampton Roads guy, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. He's a hell of a spotter too. Really fantastic.
Well,
he does a good job.
Is he still spotting? I thought we were just fishing all the time now.
He is. He's fishing. He's down there. He's over there. He's probably hanging out with the boys at the Big Rock last weekend. But he's down there close to Atlantic Beach, and man, he's living the life now.
He was here for the Hampton Heat.
Yeah, and I'll be, as far as I know, I have plans to come in and help Edward Motorsports and Danny and Greg for the Hampton Heat. Where, as far as I know, I'm planning to be there. So hopefully we
can members out.
Yeah, so hopefully we can all catch up again as we did the other couple of weeks ago when you're all down here in our shop. And
so when you leave to come up here for that, do you have to rent a bus to bring all the Edwards people back up here to the race?
I mean, I tell you what, Danny's a little mad at me because I stole some of his help. I had to call him up. I said, after we took 2 of his guys, I was like, all right, I got to call Bubba. He's going to be mad at me, dude. I said, I was scared. It took me 3 days before I actually got the nerve to call him. I was so scared, because he's always been one of my heroes, man. It's just the way it is. And it's like, oh golly, what am I going to tell him? I called him up and I said, hey Bubba, how are you? He said, man, what are you doing taking all my help? I said, man, I really didn't mean for it to turn out that way.
Hey, look, I got a plan for you now. I got another one you might want to look at.
Okay.
Mason Dunn. We're going to send him down there to you.
Oh, Mason. He's a piece of work. And, when I first met that guy, I think it was like 6 years ago, and he had this little mullet. And I was like, dude, you look just like Kenny Powers, man. And he talks just like him. So I say, hey, AKA Powers, every time I see him when I go back to the shop at Edward
I'm glad you told me that.
Next time you see him, you give him a whole lot of ration and trash and say, hey, man, that's old AKA Mr. Powers right there. He'll say, yeah, you've been talking to Dougie Doug, haven't you? I say, yeah.
Well, Doug, we appreciate you being with us tonight, and hopefully we can get you back on here and we can talk some more because we enjoy.
Hey, man, I'll be willing to come on your show anytime you like. I'm not bashful. I have a ton of stories I can tell you guys, and it was really a pleasure having you guys in our shop the other day, and I was glad I had the opportunity to take you guys around and give you an inside tour of what it takes to prepare a next gen for a cup race. And man, you guys are welcome more than any time to come back down here to Charlotte and catch up with me, and I can take you around to some other people and meet you some other folks. And man, I enjoyed being on your show. And
we'll be down there for the Roval, so don't worry.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be down there within the next week or two. I got to come down and pick up some stuff down there from a friend of mine. So within a week or two, I'm gonna be coming down.
Running drugs? Or something?
No, not running drugs.
Well, look me, hey, text me. You have my number now. You know, get up with me or Ryan, and we'll catch up. And I was sitting here, I was turned on the show, and I was looking at y'all's pizza, and here I am on a no carb diet. I've lost almost 28 pounds now, and I'm just like, man, that pizza looks so good, dude.
Well,
But so yeah, get up with me. We'll catch up. We'll go get a bite to eat, and we'll be glad to chat again anytime. You know.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Tell everybody we said hi, and we'll talk to them when I come down that way.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to catching up with you folks again, and I would be glad to come back on your show and give you any info that you need, my man.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, you. We'll talk to you later.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night. Talk to you soon, okay?
How cool is that? I mean, Doug is just one of many that have come from Hampton Roads, and there's quite a few that have come from Danny and Greg's shop.
Yeah, it's right there at JTG. What, 4 or 5 people right there?
Yeah, I mean, you got Big Dave. I mean, there's several guys that have come through that shop and has gone down to make a career in Charlotte, and not to mention the people from Langley Speedway. And,
yeah, that's right.
Although Toby ended up down there in Charlotte, he didn't even come. He went straight to the Cup Series. and it's maybe one day when we have Toby back on, we could probably have him on and see what he's doing now and talk about that how he got that gig.
I'll get a hold of him. I mean, if I can, I know there's a guy. What's his name? Ron Devine. He might be able to help us.
He might got his phone number.
Anyway, all right, let's get Cole Bruce on here. I've been waiting for this one.
What's up, Cole? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, man.
We're having too much fun.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
So what's going on with you this year, man? Tell us all about your highs and lows of what's going on.
Man, it's been a very long, busy year already. We're only not even halfway through June. So currently right now, as for those who don't know, I'm in summer school. I'm in my apartment right now at Liberty University, going after my aeronautical science degree, doing all my flying during the day and then racing on Saturday nights. Some highs, I guess, would be just I'm getting an adrenaline rush almost every day, whether it's, flying or driving race cars on the weekend. But let's see, the high, I guess, last weekend, or not this previous weekend, but the weekend before, we had our best ever run at Langley. We finished P2. Was able to compete for the win with Connor Hall, which was pretty awesome. So I'm very thankful for that. But more or less, I'm just taking
him on the restart there.
What's that?
I said you snuckered him on the restart there at the end. I thought you were gonna have it.
Yeah, I thought so too, man. I really did. I knew pretty much going up to that restart, I knew it was going to be like my one and only opportunity because I knew Connor was better than us that night. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, once we get to this white line, I'm going. I got one mulligan, so I might as well burn it up and see what happens.
I don't blame you.
So
were you surprised that
you didn't get called back?
No flag was thrown or anything there? I mean, because you took off pretty good.
Well, yeah, I kind of was, and Logan Jones was spot for you that night, and then he goes, all right, get ready. Oh, well, yellow, no, maybe. All right, keep going, because that's what we were all thinking. We're like, well, Connor just did not go at all, and because we were trying to maintain pace, and I felt like me and Connor had a good pace going in turn 3 and 4, and then I know all night everybody was complaining on the inside road that he would check up right before the box, just normal restart games as a leader, try to get any advantage you can get. So I don't know if, like I said, I felt like it was a clean start for the most part. I mean, I know I went at the line, but it's the leader who starts the race. But I was a little bit of
waiting for him, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but he got me back though. He was able to drive into 1 and 2 and gave me a little, he calls a little kiss on the back bumper and drove on by. So I tried to hold him tight in 3 and 4. Looking back, I kind of wish I tried to do a crossover move on and let him go. But you live and learn. So, like I said, next time I get the opportunity, I know what to do.
It still had to be pretty exciting, though, right? I mean, you say Connor was better than you, but he's better than every damn body right now. So you're not alone.
Yeah, no, of course. Like I said, he's ever since last year, man, he's been unstoppable. So, but I think it has its pros and cons. Obviously there's some backlash with it. Everyone's like, "What's he doing?" But also for us as drivers, competitors, I know I've talked to multiple people down pit road, and they it's one of those deals where we're all trying to chase Connor Hall, the big, fast, jacked rabbit, So it's making us better. It's definitely made our program better. It's made me better as a driver, understanding, and obviously just getting around Langley in general. Because last year was my first full season. I've only raced there maybe a few races in Virginia Racer and then the Hampton Heat. So, but no, it's even though I love him to death with his brother, like I said, he helped me back in 2019, 2020 when we were in Virginia Racers and stuff. But he's a pain in the butt to race against, man, just because he's so hard to beat.
Yeah, I can understand that deal for a lot. So you're down here racing at Langley Speedway. What are your plans for the rest of the year? Are you going to run for the Triple Crown, or what are you going to do?
So more or less our plans is just around Langley full time this year. We don't have South Boston on the schedule. We don't have Martinsville on the schedule, which really hurts to say. Just right now with me being busy with school, it's kind of my number one priority right now. So I'm thankful enough to even be able to race when I can at Langley Speedway full time. So unless we can find some partners to come along for Martinsville, we'll do it. But as of right now, we're just more or less focused on Langley. Now, you might see us, though, at the end of the year run some bigger races, like me and my dad and Craig with Torp Chassis. We've been talking about going down to run, I think it's the South Carolina 400, the big Florence race at the end of the year.
Right.
So we're talking about, since Langley's so similar to that track, going down there at the end of the year and go have some fun. But other than that, it's just more or less strict business at Langley.
So what are you going to school for? You want to be a pilot, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so basically I'm at Liberty University going it's a 4-year degree, Bachelor of Science degree in aeronautical science, but I want to be a commercial pilot. It's my end goal. So I currently hold my privates. Going after my instrument rating, which is basically like flying in clouds with very low visibility. And then I'll get my commercials as well. So by the end of spring of 25, so next year, I'll have all 3 of those ratings. And then in the fall of 25, I'll be getting my multi-engine rating, just basically able to fly plane or jet with like 2 engines on, or one on both sides. And then after that, I'm just going to be a flight instructor, build up my hours, and then whatever airline or corporate business I choose to go down and work for is the route I'm going to do.
So now, being you're learning all that, you're learning aerodynamic stuff, and is that some of that stuff that you can take in for the race car? Because we're all going after some of that stuff now. I mean, we're going fast enough. I can see the answer in your head is yes.
A little bit, but with aircraft, you're more or less trying to figure out like drag and stuff like that too. You're always trying to figure out your best lift. Obviously, I mean, you can trim out the planes, but so much to be able to like fly as fast as you can, obviously, without over running your prop on your engine. So it helps. It's very little stuff, nothing too crazy. Like we're not learning how wind travels over the plane. We're just like, hey, this is your rudder, this is your elevator, this is what it does when you do this or that, So, and not as much as I'd like to have, but I might like in the fall because I'm actually taking it's my senior year. I'm taking an aerodynamics class, and we actually have a lab with it. So I think then I'll have the opportunity to learn a lot more. But as of right now, I'm not learning it with my certifications or the classes I'm taking right now.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. I mean, my son is doing the same thing. I mean, he quit racing and now he's a pilot and working with American Airlines as far as he's in their program. He's already got all those things you were talking about. I don't know nothing about it. Instrument panels and all that. I know
they're way smarter than you and I.
Yeah, they both them kids, and that's unbelievable that that you all you set that as a goal to do. I'm impressed with you, Cole. I think that's a pretty big deal for you to be able to be in that situation.
And how did it come about? Is like somebody in the family a pilot, or how did you get interested in?
Well, first off, thank you, Jay. That means a lot. But I never had any interest in aircraft or planes really, because we maybe flew like a handful of times in total for like my life growing up as a little kid when I was 18. And my neighbor actually is a pilot for United. So he was kind of like, hey man, like, because I graduated from high school and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I went to community college, did my gen eds, just stay in the flow of being in school and stuff until I figured out what I wanted to do. Because I thought about going to trade school for welding, maybe going to engineering school to work on race cars full time. I really had no plan. But my neighbor he was like, why don't you do a discovery flight? Try that out. You know, I was like, all right, whatever. Like I said, I'd never had any interest, or no one in the family was a pilot or did anything with aircrafts or airplanes as it was. So basically I did it one time. It was over the summer of 22. And I just, ever since then, I fell in love with it. It was pretty cool. It was a little bit relatable in race car just because like you can kind of feel like when the plane's untrimmed or like something doesn't feel right, like just from driving a race car in general, like when your tail end gets a little bit free or you feel the front end push, like you feel the plane and you understand the like laws of physics with it a lot more than just your standard person who's never been into aircraft. So I think that kind of translates a little bit back and forth, which is really nice. But I never wanted to do a 9 to 5 job. I was one of those kids where school was a hit or miss for me. Like, obviously, I had to keep good grades to be able to race and do what I do now. Mom and dad set a strict schedule for me for that. But being able to do the aircraft, I mean, I'm studying something I truly am passionate about. And I know long-term wise, it's going to give me the ability to have a little bit more of a flexible schedule to race, but also have the income to be able to still afford it.
Yeah, that's wild. Your story sounds just like my son's story. I mean, it's
except he's still in racing.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're still in racing, he's not. But I mean, the story is about the same. And if you look at it, because he never really showed any interest in flying or anything like that, and then all of a sudden, you know, he did some whatever he was doing to get into it, and he fell in love with it. Now that's his thing. That's his dream, and he's living it. And it sounds just like what you're doing. And I'll tell you what, you guys are smart. I'm gonna give it to you. You guys you got it going on over top of us old fellas here that, you know.
I'm not old.
You are old. But I mean, I'm totally amazed and I admire what you've done, and I think that's really cool. I think you're developed and then have a well-rounded lifestyle. You're not solely on the racing, and
as a young man.
Yeah, as a young man, you're doing what you want to do, and that's what life is about.
What you should do.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one thing I kind of had to learn growing up too. Is, you know, we were thankful enough throughout my racing growing up. You know, we had partners help us out and be able to do racing, but just I wasn't in a race car enough or had the funding to go to that next step. And I kind of knew that when I was like 17 or 18. I mean, because at that point, as you guys know, you got to be able to be in trucks and ARCA and winning races at that point to make it to the next step. So, I mean, at that point, it was a little bit of realizing, maturing, going, hey, like this dream of being a cup driver is very slim now. We got to back up and actually, you know, go to reality, figure out a long-term career and still be able to do late model racing full time, even though, like, as you guys know, Cars Tour is becoming just as crazy as Xfinity or truck, you know, full time guys and stuff and traveling all over with the publicity. So,
I mean, how hard is it for you you're up there at Liberty, or that's where you're at, right? Liberty, you're at Liberty.
Yeah, correct.
You're up there at Liberty, and you come back home to race. I mean, how do you keep your schedule to where you know, how hard is that?
It's pretty stressful. I'm not going to lie. Growing up, I always was staying busy between sports, school, and obviously racing as well. So I think that's something that's stuck with me to this day. Trying to think. So on weekends, I raced, like I said, at Langley. We're about every other weekend, which is a lot nicer. So I come home some weekends, but not every weekend. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from Lynchburg, Virginia, all the way to Hampton. Right. And this past Saturday when we raced was the first time I did that because, like you were saying, I would just come home on Friday night because I didn't have any flights on Saturday morning to go just ride down with my dad in the truck and trailer, and we'll just go to the racetrack that Saturday. Where now I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I have my flight from 6 to anywhere to 10 o'clock. And we're, you know, reviewing stuff, going over content, etc. And I'm just hopping on the interstate, driving straight to Hampton. And then luckily, like I said, my dad and my uncle, and then sometimes as well when Logan Jones can come, he's there and he's helping unloading, having everything prepared, ready for me to go. So when I get there, I'm basically just a guy with my helmet and race suit. But it's a little bit weird because I always grew up, you know, working with my dad in the shop during the week, staying out there till, you know, 11 o'clock at night. My mom calling on the phone asking where the heck we are. Are we going to ever come home and go to sleep? So it's a little bit different for me. But like I said, I wouldn't be able to do it without my dad and my uncle working full time in the shop or after work, getting the car prepared, ready to go. But it's a lot hard on me, man, because like I said, I had no time to sleep in between. I tried to take like a 15-minute nap, but that only did so much in the driver's lounge at Langley with all the other cars racing and stuff. But it's a lot to tax on. But I think in the long run, though, it's going to help me later in life, to be better in just everything.
You just need to get you a plane.
Yeah, I know. Everyone keeps telling me, they're like, man, we're going to get you a plane. I'm like, man, my plane funding's right there in that race car in the race shop right now.
Exactly.
Well, Cole, I tell you what, I keep saying it, but I do admire you for what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and you're racing and have a plan for your life, and I think that's really cool. And I tell you what, if there's anything we can ever do to help you, even though Scott and I, neither one of us know anything about a damn airplane.
Well, hold on. Make sure he doesn't want any money, because we ain't got no money either.
I didn't say money. Did I say anything about money?
No, he doesn't know money.
It can help. I mean, every race
I
car
said
has
help.
some
I
money.
said help. I didn't say money. No, but really, I mean, I think talking with you today is an amazing story. I did not expect to hear what you told us tonight.
You didn't think he was that smart?
I didn't say I didn't think he was smart.
That's what it sounded like you said.
No, I just didn't.
I'm a little offended.
I just did not expect to hear him say he was a pilot, and he's working to become a pilot, and he wants to be a pilot. It just, I mean,
And he's going to Liberty. I mean,
yeah, he's at Liberty.
they wouldn't even accept us at TCC.
I know. I had a hard time. I had a hard time with that too. But I mean, hey, Clay's going to Liberty in a couple of weeks to go down there for a camp. So
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and see, this university's still pretty busy during the summer, like with all the summer camps and stuff. So it's always a little bit of traffic or hectic trying to get to the airport or the classroom.
And the Lynchburg Airport is something else there too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool because American Eagle, the American Airlines, the regional for it, they take off there too, and it's a towered airport. So we're always talking to ATC or air traffic control, and it's pretty cool because you'll see the big jets come in. I mean, I've even seen military fighter jets, like the planes you see fly over Langley Speedway. They literally have gone to Lynchburg before too. So it's kind of like, whoa, what are you guys doing here? This ain't the racetrack, because that's where I'm always used to seeing them at least.
Yeah.
So do you have your pilot's license to fly the small aircraft, because a certain amount of people, right? And then you got to get so many hours, and then you can get to the big plane.
Yeah. So currently, like the little Cessnas, the 172s, is the type of aircraft I fly now. It's a single engine, 180 horsepower. I can legally fly those. I can fly it basically any time of the day, as long as the weather permits for it. And then once I get, like I said, I'm working on my instrument rating now, which basically says I can fly reading off this certain GPS and map, just so it's at nighttime or when it's cloudy out and stuff. And then the commercial is basically when I get my commercials, because that's where it gets confusing for a lot of people. They're like, oh, you have a commercial's license, you can go fly the big airplanes. Yet not really. No, I'm still only rated to do the single engine. But I can do crop dusting, like at the beach, you see those planes fly banners and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's just basically saying that you can officially get paid as a pilot to fly. Whereas private, a lot of people sometimes get it. Like you see some cup drivers that actually have their private license and they just fly for fun, and just travel to place, but they can't go work for a company and make money off of it. Is the big difference with private and your commercials. So once I get my commercials, that's when I can do like a summer job, something like that. Or but being a flight instructor, though, I have to go get my flight instructor rating. So basically it's about a 2 month to 2 month course, just learning the proper techniques of how to teach another student and stuff. And once I do that, then I'll be able to gain my hours, because I need 1,000 hours before I can get hired by the airlines. That's the goal number that everybody tries to get to. It usually takes about 2, sometimes 3 years, depending how fast you get it done. But it just all depends, because I'll graduate in 26, and I'll go back home, live with my parents, try to save up for a house or apartment, wherever else, and go work at my Stafford airport, because they have a flight school there, and go instruct until I go off to an airline or corporate company.
Well, even then, when you go to the airline, you're the second guy in charge, right? So you got to do that for a while, right?
Yeah, so I'll be the first officer, and then it's the captain. So right now they, as you guys I'm sure have heard, that there's been a pilot shortage and stuff. So now they have plenty of first officers, which is like fresh off of like what I'm doing, building their 1,000 hours, doing whatever. Then they go to the airlines. Now all these captains are retiring, and they don't have enough people qualified or the hours built up as a officer to be a captain. So now there's a captain shortage. So they're trying to balance that out. So it's been a little bit of a hot mess, but they're still trying to hire pilots all day, every day, just because people are traveling a lot more. Obviously, there's more population on this earth, so you can't really complain about it. I don't think the industry itself is going to die anytime soon unless the market.
No, and it's a pretty good living for the hours that you work and get paid for it. I got a couple clients, so that's what they do. They're retired military, and they're airline pilots. One of them was with Delta, and the other one's with American.
Well, I'm sorry we turned this racing show into a cold flight instruction thing. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, I admire you for it, and man, I'll tell you what. When I see you again out here at Langley, I'll have a whole new appreciation for you, and good luck to you, man. I think it's a big deal and I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, we'll be here this Saturday racing, so hopefully we have 20 cars again. I don't know. I mean, we had a huge car count last week. Late model race. That was really impressive because they weren't just showing starting park cars. They're actually real racers out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think people are kind of wanting to try to get ready for the Hampton Heat.
Yeah.
Well, Cole, you got anybody you want to thank about your racing or whatever else you got going on? Because you are a busy person.
Yeah, just more or less all people that help me do what I do. My sponsors, Flashpoint Logistics. Let's see who else we have. Brian's Garage back with us this year. Mid Atlantic Towing. Atlantic Trailer Rentals. That's Mark. We've kept our cars at his race shop for as long as I can remember, probably almost 15 years now. And he's been a huge help for us because he actually enjoys it. So he kind of walks around, gives us some crap if we leave a tool out or something. Like, what are you doing leaving tools out of my race shop? Something like that. But we're thankful for him. Obviously my dad and my uncle supported me ever since I was 8 years old getting into it. I know my uncle has been helping my dad and, racing back at Old Dominion days in the 90s and stuff. So if it wasn't for them truly having the love and passion for it, I don't think I'd be doing this sport as it is right now, just because of how expensive and hands-on, these race cars are. So I'm very blessed and thankful for that.
Well, Cole, I'm excited for you. I hope everything you keep going with what you got going on there and get all your goals in life met. And man, I tell you what, good luck to you, man. You're somebody that ought to be admired for what you do. So I think it's cool.
Appreciate it. Hopefully I can get some fans out there more down at Langley. I know I'm kind of known as an out-of-towner and stuff, but hopefully this broadcast and some other stuff that I've been doing is kind of reaching out to people. And also, it's a little promotion for myself. Sorry about that. But we've been doing some vlog stuff too at Langley. So if you guys haven't really been keeping up, look up for my YouTube channel, Cobra's Race. I'm trying to catch up with old Doug Barnes and everybody else that's been doing vlogs and stuff. So,
oh yeah, I have to check that out. I haven't seen it, but I have to check that out.
Yeah, check it out because we did opening night, then we actually did this past race weekend when we raced against Connor and stuff. So it was pretty cool to kind of just see the back behind the scenes and stuff, all the racing action with me that sometimes just Flo doesn't catch because there's so much action on the race.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Cole, thank you for spending some time with us, and maybe we can get you back on here again later on and see how things are going.
We'll talk racing that time.
Yeah, we'll go more racing next time. But hey, you impressed me tonight. I was all in for that story about your flying and everything. I think that's cool. So
yeah, like I said, thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. I know it's been a while since I've been on the show. Like I said, I know I gave you a little bit of crap when I last saw you at Langley. Be like, man, we won't get me back on the show.
Well, you have to give him a hard time. That's what we do.
Everybody gives me a hard time. I don't even look at it that way as a hard time. But anyway, Cole, thanks for being with us, and hopefully we can get you back again. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Hopefully, we might see you this weekend. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we'll be in the infield racing again. So if you guys are there, come on down and say hi. We'll do. All right, man.
See you, buddy.
We'll
all right, see you, Scott. See you, Jack. Thank you, guys.
All right, right.
What a good, nice young man.
I mean, that threw me completely for a loop. I mean, I'm sitting here. he comes up with this. He's going to be a pilot, and that. I mean, his story is so much like Lee's story. I mean, what I have known about Lee's story. But I mean, he gave up the racing. Of course, he's not giving up his racing, but
he's looking at it as a way to help fund his racing.
So I mean, it's really cool that's what he's doing, and it takes a lot to stick with it because you got all these hours you got to pick up. And that's, of course, he says once he gets out of school, he'll be able to go somewhere and do that. Where Lee was out of school, he wasn't. I mean, he was still in the flight school, but he was able to go to be an instructor right there, you know, and he was running, and he was helping run the little club they had, flight school, whatever little thing they had there, renting planes and doing all this stuff and teaching and everything. So that's how he got his hours. So yeah, that's really cool. And I'm really impressed with Cole Bruce. You know, I just thought he was another one of them race car drivers, but he's a little bit smarter than the average race car driver. And so anyway, that's our show for tonight. We appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. We had a great time with Doug Morgan and
Doug said, thanks for guys. Doug, you're more welcome to come on anytime, man.
And hey, we're gonna get Toby Weldon back on here and talk to him. You know, maybe we'll break off the racing show and go do some fishing. I don't know. But anyway, appreciate everybody being here. Doug,
do we have a driver of the week this week?
Oh, I mentioned that already.
Did you?
Yeah, you didn't hear me. Aiden Milet is the driver of the week.
I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, Aiden Milet's the driver of the week.
2 in a row.
Yeah,
he was bragging in victory lane.
I heard. I heard. But anyway, next week, Atlee Weiss is going to be with us. He's coming over here to hang out with us for a little while. I think we're also going to have Miley Cyrus Smith.
Oh, was she supposed to be here last week?
No, well, she was supposed to be here this week.
Oh,
but she had to go to a camping thing that she's doing. So hopefully, maybe next week we can get Robert Pellet back. Maybe he can come back next week. Also, I'm trying to figure out now where am I? Oh, here we go. Matt Waltz is going to be with us next week.
Okay, yeah.
So we got
Matt to run in the car store.
So Matt Waltz will be here, and we need to get everything together and start getting some people in here to talk about the Hampton Heat that's coming up very soon. So
Vaughn said he wanted to come on.
We need to get Vaughn. We need to get Shane Laws and Bill to come in here and talk Hampton Heat. A lot of stuff going on. Anyway, see you next week, and please like and share our show, and we'll talk to you again.
See you guys.